And when it comes to budgets, we've never had a situation in which a party said that, unless we get our way 100%, then we're going to let the United States default. That's never happened, George.
President, they're fully engaged in that rhetorical battle with Congress. And at stake in these fights over the debt limit, the federal budget, could be the economy. And if not the capsizing that we had to deal with 4 or 5 years ago, nonetheless, in a very fragile economy, a hit that it really doesn't need right now. And as we speak, it looks like House Speaker John Boehner is the man stuck in the middle of this mess, Andrew. And I know it's tough sometimes to feel bad for him, but he can't win here. I mean, he tries to bring along the Tea Party, but then they make it clear if he doesn't go along to get along, or at least bite lip, he can be looking for another job.
It's a little bit like the president in Syria. There are no good options for John Boehner, Rich. Quick reminder of how close to the edge we are once again on these issues. Deadline day for the federal budget is September 30th. There is talk that Congress may cancel its recess next week, but as of right now, just 4 working days left until time runs out. If there's no deal by the 30th, then on October 1st, the government shuts down. Approximately 2 weeks later, we hit the debt limit and a federal default begins. Congress has to work through both of those big issues. To get there, many Republicans want to either kill, delay, or defund Obamacare, but Democrats say no. Democrats want to roll back the sequester, but Republicans say no. That sounds like fun. Right now, neither side is blinking. Plus, thanks to the pressure being applied by outside groups, neither side appears to be willing to come up with a creative alternative to the mess. But the pressure is growing on Republicans and Republican leaders to put Tea Party pressures aside for the sake of the nation. Pennsylvania's Charlie Dent saying, quote, "It's important that Republicans stop pretending that Mitch McConnell is the Senate Majority Leader and Mitt Romney is the president." Combine that with this read from Fox's Britt Hume.
Government shutdown as a way of forcing policy when you control one house of the legislature is a loser.
But a lot of Tea Party Republicans do not agree. House Speaker John Boehner running out of ways out of this mess. Does he anger Republicans and work a budget and debt deal just with Democrats? Does he risk an unpopular shutdown and debt default by dealing only with fellow Republicans? Does he anger those outside lobbying groups like FreedomWorks and Heritage by coming up with some sort of short-term compromise? All 3 of those options, Rich, could cost Boehner his gavel.
Richard, it is single-handedly the only thing I can think of that Republicans could do to screw up what looks to be probably a pretty good midterm season for him. It's like they have to try to invent a way to take the headlines away from the president on Syria, to take away whatever aggravations that are going on in dysfunction that he has to share and own, and single-handedly put it directly on their own party. I mean, this is manna for heaven for the president. Why in God's name would the Republican Party let 40 wackadoos in the House take them and us over a cliff when they already have to look to just last year to say they're going to get blamed, rightfully so, for it?
Look,
did I say anything wrong?
Answer the question.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you did. That you solely squarely blame this just on the Republicans. This is about Obama as a president and how he relates to Congress. It is about how he has been ineffective in his working with Congress and his working relationship with Congress. And had he been more effective with that, we would have a compromise.
Richard, my friend, I ask you something. Take
Sure.
Obama out of it. Take our soundbite that we played out of it. You have leading Republicans, including the Speaker and a host of others. Andrew could have played 30 clips from Republicans who said, don't do this. This is dumb. This is bad for the country. And this is the worst politics to do.
I don't disagree with that. It is silly to do. But we didn't get in this situation by ourselves. The president has yet to come up with a plan of how we can keep our economy going, how to improve our economy, and how to pay down our debt. He's yet to work with Congress on that. So we didn't get to this position solely because of Congress.
I'm going to let Richard off the hook on this one.
No,
let him off the hook.
Yeah.
He keeps jumping on it no matter what you do.
Come on.
He's the great carp syndrome here, jumping into the boat.
Richard, don't do the politics for me. Do the policy about just how bad this is. Reverse it. Say Democrats did it to Republicans. This is bad for the country.
It's very bad for the country. Now back to the politics.
I agree with that.
Now back to the politics. The notion that responsible Republicans can't deal with a whacked out fringe group and let the fringe group define the bigger group and then try to blame it on Obama? John Boehner can't talk to those people.
Why is he an ineffective speaker?
That's why I don't understand why you guys are saying the pressure's on Boehner. Boehner's powerless. Why are we saying the pressure's on Boehner?
Let's look at how we got to the Tea Party situation, which is just a more conservative Republican, really, is because of the out-of-control spending. And because Republicans kept giving and giving and giving. That's how the Tea Party was created. And now, after the redistricting process, you have very conservative Republican districts where people get threatened with more running another conservative Republican and a conservative
We
district.
got all that.
And
But
so
now-
that's the big problem.
The most important thing is you got to win races, right? And here's your chance to take back the Senate, okay? And to certainly, if not keep the House, even strengthen it. And by the way, you guys might want to win a presidency once in a while. So what are you going to do? You're going to actually shut the government down. People are going to look at the market. They're going to look at their 401ks and say, bleep and bleeps. Look what they're doing to me, and for what? And in the end, you're going to have to capitulate. You're going to gain absolutely nothing out of it. You're going to weaken your speaker. I'm not blaming you, but I'm saying this is so dumb.
You were doing so well
This
there.
is so dumb.
The Tea Party congressmen will get reelected in their district because that's what their district wants. It's the other districts in which there are more moderate that you'll have to have a moderate opponent.
Why don't you go talk to the Koch brothers and say, guys, let's spend some money in the districts with these nut jobs, and let's get in some people that have a common sense and a pulse, so we don't have to let these guys hold us hostage every single time.
There will be a time, there will be, like in the 60s.
They got like winning more though, right?
Like in the 60s when the liberals took over the Democratic Party, and it wasn't until Bill Clinton came in where you had more progressives in the party. The Republican Party is going through a transition, and when things shake out, we'll be back to the Big Ten Party.
The problem is the Democrats, when they were out in the wilderness, weren't nearly as obstructionist as the Republican Party of today is being.
They're using civil rights legislation.
They're using Obamacare.
They're
using Obamacare, which was passed by Congress and actually lowers the debt, by the way.
Democrats, yeah.
You know, the problem here is like the problem of the gun discussion. This is not subject to rational resolution. This is a cultural
I have to
phenomenon.
say amen on that one, Brodsky.
But you know what's different is? A year ago, we went through the same play, and it ended badly for them.
Until the fellow travelers with the nut right abandon the nut right and reclaim what was a Republican, an element of the Republican Party that is now gone.
Why do people call them nuts and crazies and wackos?
You know why? I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. I can
that's
understand. No, wait.
disrespectful to
Time
the
out. Richard,
constituency who
no.
elected
Here's
them
why I
there.
call them nut right.
Yes.
We can disagree, and I encourage this table and this format and this platform to do that. Disagree on the issues. I can have a disagreement with somebody on issues of choice, on issues of guns, on issues of whole things. And I may not agree with them, but I'll respect the opinion. The people that are trying to literally shut the government down here and default on our debts, let's be clear, money we've already spent. America pays its debts. They want us to default on it, money that they went for. They now turn around and say, I know that we voted for it, because you have to have laws. We voted and passed Obamacare. The Supreme Court green-lighted it. But you know what? Because we don't like it, we're going to totally throw a wrench and bankrupt the country.
You're being too nice.
And that isn't fair, and that's not right.
The reason they're crazy and nuts is legitimate rape, and he was born in Kenya, and stuff that is so bizarrely
and makes
unreal.
You guys look bad as a result.
You've got to either become a fellow traveler or you got to turn your back on them.
Look, a few bad apples don't spoil the bunch.
They're
okay?
spoiling
you
our
can't
country.
criticize the whole Republican Party as being right-wing nuts.
Your party has jumped the shark. It is the most conservative party in the world.
No, it is a party. It is the
Well,
party
I have
within
an
the
idea
party.
for
It's not the whole
for the
Republican
grand
Party.
old party. And although Dominic doesn't agree with me, and I'm not sure the rest of them, I'll give you an idea. His first and last name sounded like Chris Christie. He's the best thing that they could have here. But you know what? He was left off of a list of today's top conservatives. Why? Well, the answer may surprise you. And will that image hurt him down the line? And later, Christine Quinn endorsed Bill de Blasio today. That would have been funny if it's the other way around. We'll have the latest for the campaign trail. I got questions for a table right after this.